here, if we accept you as a candidate for care, we hope and expect you to have those as well, right? Right, so they're going, okay, cool, gosh, that's great. You're gonna really love our healthcare team. These doctors are some of the best in the country, very evidence-based, very trained. So we hope that you can be accepted as a candidate for care. Now, by saying, can you be accepted as a candidate for care, you're letting them know that they're not just automatically a patient in your clinic. This is an important thing. And here's what I'm doing right now, you guys. Patients come to you for help, right? And then they don't necessarily want your help. Like, they kind of pull back from you. And so what I'm doing is we're using communication methods for the power of good. And these are the same methods that you might see in any sales environment, but you're going to use them for the power of good. Our ethics and our evidence will be times 10. We're going to always tell patients things that are true that they need, right? But you're guiding them down the road. Because what happens is they have objections. They have objections to what you say, they have objections to time and objections to money, and they're going to want to get the very most from you, the most time from you. They're going to want the most benefit in the least amount of time for them. They're going to want it to cost the least amount of money. So they've got to really understand the value of what you do, which is why every single one of these steps matter. Okay, so you've gone through those steps, you've come in, they said the same things to you when you came in, compliment the referral source, compliment the doctors, let you know that we hope that we can accept you as a patient for care, give you a tour of the entire office. That matters because they might not know that you have a gym. They might not know that you do corrective care. They might not know that you do pain management and have an awesome C-arm, right? Like, they might not know these things, so they need to see all the different areas. Maybe they've got a friend who needs weight loss, right? So you do that tour. And then in my office, my chiropractic assistant will take their height and their weight and do the posture screening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to qualify. You have a smartphone, you have like an iPhone or an iPad, okay. So I'm going to have you just fill this additional information out. I know you've already filled out the initial intake forms. It'll just be quicker for you to type your name. So I need name, I need birthday, I need height, weight, and then your phone and your email. Now we're taking your email down in this electronic media format because immediately after doing this exam, I'm going to send you the results. It's going to be a very nice report on your posture. So while he's filling that out, you guys, I'm gonna actually do his posture screen. You guys you're gonna train with Pascal on this. Half of you already do it, but I'll just do it with you. More importantly, I want you to hear what I say. Now, when you guys use Posture Screen, it's got an export feature in it that can export into Excel, and then you can email that Excel report into your constant contact for your newsletters and for your your communications with people. So it's a really nice feature. You're using this in your screenings, but on all your new patients, and then that's where all that data gets captured. Also, if you use some of the electronic healthcare records, like we're using Genesis, which is billing precision, you hit the upload the EHR button and the images are directly uploaded into software, the report's uploaded into the software, so then you're looking at their analyzed posture when you're doing their adjustment. All set? Okay, great. So now we're going to take a posture photograph of you. I want you to just stand right there. They will have been instructed to be in tight-fitting athletic clothes. I want you to march up and down just a couple times for me. When you land, let's make sure your feet and your toes are right in normal alignment. Now, good. Shrug your shoulders a couple times, flex your head forwards and backwards, and go into what feels like your natural neutral posture. I'm going to make one note change. You're 6'3", 4? 6'1", 4. Okay. Now what I want to tell the people, and you guys, if you'll come behind me and just look at me, look at my screen. This is mostly for those of you who don't use the program. You want to tell your patient the iPad has a level in it, and you tell them it's like Top Gun or like the jet fighters. When it goes green, it's good, and then you can get the picture. And then you're telling the patient this, okay? Because they're seeing you move it. You want them to understand you've got technology. And then you're lowering the lines, top of head, bottom of feet. We move to the next image. Now we're going to take a side image of you. I want you to face this direction. Again, use sign language. You're going to tell them to go left, they'll go right. And we're making sure we've got you level. Now shrug your shoulders up and down, forward, head forward and back. Great,
So,
okay.
Jason, that's
Yes, sir.
almost like a central ray. You're bringing it down to...
Yeah. Yeah, and if I was smart, I would calibrate this so I can hold it up at my own height. I just haven't done it. But you can angle it to
Okay.
where you can put it wherever you want to do. But yes, I'm getting central ray.
Okay.
So it's getting plumb and level in X, Y, and Z. That's exactly what it's doing. Okay, so my staff gathered that image. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to bring you back into the exam room. They're going to tell you to have a seat. They're going to say the doctor's going to be right. So you're having a seat on the bench. Now, my influence over my patient is not as powerful if I'm here as it is if I'm right here with you. And it's even more powerful if I'm right next to you. So I come in and I can say, hi, my name is Dr. Jason Jaeger. I'm going to do your examination today. I understand Dr. Heath sent you to us. Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. You know, he's one of the top researchers in the world in chiropractic. And you know, he's had life-changing results with us as well. So you're going to meet all of the healthcare team. We'll do an exam today and see if you're a candidate for care. Great. Now, what I want to do next is I want to sit next to him. Okay? I want to be right next to you in your personal space. I'm going to say Rebecca took a posture screen of you. So she did a photograph of you. She got a front and side photograph. I want to go over the results of these with you right now. So now we're together, right? Chiropractors touch people. Okay, and this is, we build a bond with people by touching them. It's a kinesthetic experience. And I'm going to assess him out. I'm going to get as close to him as he's comfortable. Now these are the photographs that she took of you. I probably got to buy credits. Bear with me, guys. So funny.
You'd have them as bare feet.
I just switched this iPad. What's
You'd have
happening?
them as bare feet as opposed to shoes.
Yeah, we'd have him bare feet in his athletic clothes. So we would have talked about coming in tight shorts and a tight fitting athletic shirt.
You do anything with heel position or forward or back or anything like on the floor when you do your photos?
I've got a tape line, a plumb tape line that I put down where I take the photograph, and then I didn't put my credit card in the iPad. So we're going to talk through this. So with the iPad, this is a picture of you. This is a front shot. Now this is your eye. Now I'm looking at him and I'm getting an approval that we agree that that's your eye. The reason that you want to do this, we're going to go through and I'm going to get approval with him of where the marks are. When I show him his abnormal posture, if he thinks that he wasn't part of that, he's going to go, that dot isn't on the right place. It's another reason to come up with an objection. And if you hear slight and a little, and I don't know if that dot was in the right place, these are all things that will hurt you in the report of findings on the next day. Does that make sense? So if that's your eye, right, that's your other eye, nose, shoulder, shoulder. Now after you do shoulder, most of your patients are which sex? Female. They're mostly women, that's just the nature of things. So the next line that you dot is your lat, but it looks like you're touching the boob. So you've got it before that finger goes there, you gotta say this is your back or your lat, okay? Otherwise, they think you're touching the boob. So this is your lat, this is the other side, your hips, and then your ankles. And you see how your spine is shifted over to that one side? We're gonna come back to that in a minute. This is your side view. This is your ear, your shoulder, your hip, your knee, and your ankle, correct? Okay. Now we get the results, it pops up a very nice PDF report, and then it's gonna say, now the average human head is about 10 to 20 pounds, your head's actually 22 pounds. So we look at your head and what it should weigh based off of an equation from your height and your weight. Your head is shifted forward 2 inches. That 22-pound head is actually exerting a 60-pound load on that area of your low back where you're having those pain and those symptoms. So it's interesting, it's actually your head, which is the top part of your spine, that's causing a symptom on the bottom part of your spine. What I did with that language was I got away from the neck and the mid-back and the low back being different body parts. We're starting to set the foundation that the spine's one structure. Okay? Now I'm going to send you copies of these results right now, and I'd like you to go over this with your spouse when you get home, all right? Okay, so based off of the symptoms that you've written down, we're going to go over those in a minute, plus the posture stream analysis, I definitely recommend that we do an examination, but I'm going to recommend that we take x-rays of your spine from here to here. And you're comfortable with that? Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have objections from people taking full spine x-rays? Yes? Rarely? Never?
Occasionally.
Occasionally?
Yeah, it's more occasional.
Never? If you sit fast?
They can.
Yeah.
As long as you
Okay. All right, so here's the deal, you guys. We're a full spine technique, and what'll happen, Michael does this all the time. Someone posts an x-ray and he goes, show the rest of them. We can't do what we do if we don't have all the data. We need all the data to be able to make a clinical choice. So the patients need to have full spine x-rays. So their objections are either, this is where I'm hurting, so why are you x-raying here? That's the intention behind what I just did. Okay? The intention is to tie this to this, that you've got a full spine problem. Okay? And truly, we're seeing this in the research. Forward head posture and lack of neck curve was republished out of the University of Cairo to cause low back pain and radiating leg pain. The PTs in Cairo treated neck curve and forward head posture and resolved leg pain and low back pain. We have that research, right? So we need to look at the full spine. This is what the evidence says to do. So the other objection that our generation has less of an issue with, but the baby boomers do have an issue with this, and it's radiation. Okay, so does anybody here have an issue with explaining the radiation thing? No problem. Okay.
Can we review it? I know the hearing.
Okay.
We talked about it.
So we talked about this a little bit. Radiographic hormesis, radiation as a concern for health issues. Radiation from X-ray being a health concern issue is a theory, right? Everybody knows that. It's a theory. So there's three competing theories. There's the linear threshold, the nonlinear threshold, and radiographic hormesis. So the linear threshold is that it's cumulative, and then every bit of radiation you get adds up over time, and then you can get to a point where you've got a toxic amount of radiation, and it can cause cancer. The nonlinear is that you get a little, it dissipates over time, you lose, and then hormesis says that it's good for you, okay? Like in Sweden, they have radiation beds, they're low-dose radiation beds, and people lay in them for immune system boosting, okay? There are no actual research papers that support that X-ray is a risk, none at all. So you tell the patients that. It's in the posture ray report, and then I share the study with you guys. So you can give them the paper, but you can just let them know that low-dose radiation is not a risk at all. It's very, very low dose. In fact, flying to New York is about 1,000 times more radiation than getting 1,000 X-rays to your head. Okay? So most of the time people are okay with this. So just get rid of that objection. So you're fine, we're going to be taking full spine X-rays. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into the pre-consult. Now the purpose of the pre-consult is to get all of their healthcare conditions. You want to get everything that they've come in to talk about. You want to get any other secondary, tertiary conditions. And then if there's any postural organ stuff, you want to tie that in as well. You guys focus on organ at all in your practice? Anybody not like talking about organ or focusing on organ? It's okay if you don't like talking about it, just let us know. Everybody's cool with it. Okay, so we want to tie in the posture organ. So what you're going to do is you're going to explain, we're going to talk about your low back pain. In fact, that was really the big issue that brought you in here today, correct? Before we go into the low back, what I want to do is I want to explain an overview of what we're going to do today. And I also want to go into all of the different systems in your spine. I'm going to ask you questions that appear to be unrelated to your low back, but it helps me be thorough with you and get a full clinical picture of what's going on. Is that okay? Can I count on you to give me all that information, right? So I'm telling him when I want me to do things, telling him when I don't want him to do things, right? Really communicate with your body. It's very, very important. Okay, so the low back, the nerves that come out of the low back. In fact, before I go into that, I'm going to go over the posters. So we're going to talk about spine first. When I look at the spine from the front, it should be straight. We shouldn't see more than about a 5 millimeter shift of the spine to the left or the right off the midline of the tailbone. When we look at the spine from the side, we should see that your head sits squarely over your hips, and in between there should be 3 equal 40-degree curves. Okay? Now the curves do a couple things. Number one, they provide like shock absorption.